Good afternoon. My name is Jedediah, and I just wanted to clear up some lies that's been spewed by Council President Adele Lewis, that I was invited here by one of the council people, Tanya Burns, which that could be further from the truth. I was initially invited here to see things in the community when I met her, but what actually has me here is the Dale Lewis reallocation of $75,000 in ARPA funds, not disclosing a person connected to an organization to receive it, alleged abuse of weaponizing the police against the constituents, failure to disclose your financial interests across the board, like with Ashley Capital, which you received a check from, disruption of government proceedings, orchestrated disruption of city council, and sending the members of the Murphy family to interfere with your proceedings. Those are the things that brought me here, as well as how you all have refused to acknowledge the voice of the third world residents who voted twice for them who needs to be the elected representative, but you created a position not in your charter. And now I'm staying here because I've got to see where you get your behavior from. Your morally bankrupt pastor who served as a member of the school board who unethically obtained the school that y'all, I guess, worship in, that they believe that has the cell tower that's in the back of it that gives them personal enrichment. That's what's going to keep me here. Your bald-headed mayor who does not think he needs to be responsive to the crime and needs of the representative the constituents, and how you all continue to mislead people with false narratives and miseducation so that you can continue to enrich yourselves personally at the behest of the government. And this city is going through so much. So I'm going to echo everything that we find, and it's going to be really interesting because I want to make sure you saw me first. Liddell, I'm here because of you. And I'm here because of people like Candace Michelle, who literally I just watched break the rules of this governing body, because before the meeting started, they were accepting more slips like you chose to do with the individual that's behind to my left flank. So you all have enjoyed sifting and drifting for your community for so long without people, without the resources or the ability to find it out. I'm going to work very hard to get my friends at the DOJ to take a quick look over here in the city of Flint before I leave, and then I want to leave you with this. When I come back with the 2 buses, they're going to be coming to see you. Have a good day.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Richard Jones.
Please hold. There are no more public speaker slips being accepted. The meeting was already started. So, next public speaker, go ahead. Please have a seat, Ms. Lennox. That was your first warning. That's your first warning. Go ahead, Rich.
Well, before my time card started, I have a quick question. Am I the last speaker?
Would you please start his time and speaking?
I asked the question, I was the last speaker.
Please start his time.
Go ahead and speak, Rich.
Well, anyway, I would like for Mr. Ariel Bishop to take my turn on the microphone.
Then you are forfeiting your time, so that is done. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
I'm going to stand up here, Ariel.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
No.
That is not how that happens. Sabina.
What?
Sabina.
My name is
Everybody. Ariel, she didn't call your name. She called Rich Jones. We cannot transfer speaker slips. Please have a seat, Ariel. Please have a seat.
You have to beg me to have a seat. Come on,
Next public speaker. Next public. Yes, ma'am. What's your point?
Madam Chair, I'll be leaving this meeting. It seems as though to me this meeting is not,
That's an improper point of order. Thank you. Next public speaker. Next public speaker. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Gladys Williamson.
You are grifters, you're thieves, you're crummy, you're scumbags of Flint. And I won't even give you the satisfaction of calling you city council people. Because you people are crooks. That's it. I have been listening to your meetings. You know I'm not here. I've listened listen to your meetings all the time. You launder money through 501c3s, you give gifts, you cheat and squander the taxpayers' money. And I can't get now one of you scumbags to look at me. Not one of you. Because that's exactly, you know who you are, scum of Flint. And I'm telling you, your day is coming, because when we take that 3rd ward seat, we're going to have the first thing, we're going to have an audit. And we're going to find out where all the money's went. Yeah, you can laugh all you want, Judy Priestley, the person that came out of the land bank and stole money over there and shifted money all over the place. And if you think Judy's planning on staying here for the 2026, no, she's headed to Lansing. As best she can get her ass going.
I know that's right.
So don't think for a minute that Judy Priestley is going to stay in that seat.
She
She's
is that. She can't run for nothing.
Just like it was
I
for
pulled
me.
this off last night.
That's exactly right. That's right. And then when Neely came back here and took the mayor's job, he shifted his wife on up there.
Yeah.
Which was a conflict of interest, because those two sit at their kitchen table in the morning and decide where the millions of dollars is being shuffled from Lansing to Flint.
Wait. That's the point.
You don't have nothing to say? No, I didn't think you did. These are such crooks. I just can't even believe it. And you steal elections. You steal elections when you can't win. You just steal the election. And then you picked up that box with Merchette, the only one there.
Yes,
And
it's
you
illegal.
And you sent this woman over there to pick that box up when you don't have the right to pick that box up until I hear that gavel. You don't have the right to pick that box up, so I'm, point of order, asking you to put that box back where it belongs.
Oh, that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
That's what happened.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
There are no, more closed speakers.
Thank you. Seeing as how there are no more public speakers, it's now time for council response. Is there anybody who wishes to respond during this time?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 2nd ward, you have the floor.
Thank you, thank you. There are so many great things that's taking place in the city. I want to encourage the residents to take a look at the Flint 2nd Ward Facebook page, where we're posting opportunities for young people. We're posting Stop the Violence Walk. We are posting, it's a lot of things that are going on. So please just tap into that. In addition to, I would like to thank my colleagues up here. So thank you, Ms. Priestley. Thank you, Councilwoman Shedd, Leon, for your support with the Lister League. We're officially underway, and we are having an absolute great time. Although our first day it was a little rainy, we still have participants come out and get to the game. And so we were able to collect almost 2,000 pounds worth of litter and debris from Bass Park. So that is amazing. So I want to congratulate the LaShawn Johnson cleanup crew. Want to congratulate Mayor Neely Blight Squad. Would like to congratulate the Maid Institute. And also Big Brother, Big Sisters of Greater Flint and Genesee County for their participation. So far we have Big Brother, Big Sisters. They are in the lead. So absolutely, yeah, the bigs and the littles, they came out and they were putting in work. And so they want to get a chance to take home this ring right here. So we want to, if you want to still get involved, we have just a few spaces left with the team. So if you want to do something better than maybe before I see it, you want to put your enemy to good use, come off the bench to join the game. You can reach out to me, or you can reach out to the team captain directly. But we will make sure that you're on the team, and we're doing something great in the city. And again, we're playing for the championship belt, and every single person on the team will receive the championship ring. So once again, go Flint, and we're definitely going strong.
Is there anyone else who wishes to make any council response? Councilwoman Priestley, you have the floor.
I want to
thank everyone who came out to the fourth ward and worked on the cleanup this past weekend. We filled 6 dumpsters full of garbage and trash. And I want to thank specific partners who helped support financially: Kim Salon, Big Guns Tattoos, Genesee Landlords Association, Grandma's Recipe, Burns Pollution and Glass, Hagen Property Management, Maud's Alabama Barbecue, Keep Genesee Beautiful, and Nellie's Mat Shack. Also, our blight department provided the cloth as well as a dump truck that drove around the city on Sunday. And I thought that was wonderful, and I appreciate their help. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Alves, you have the floor.
I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the residents of the first ward for the continued support. Together, we have achieved significant progress in the ward. I would like to take a moment and highlight a few of them. From enhancing services to residents, working with the city and administrators, we have been able to help many residents get their sidewalks repaired, trees trimmed and removed, and many residents have gotten their roofs replaced. This is an ongoing process. We are scheduled to have at least 9 more coming up soon in regards to getting the roofs and things repaired. I also want to thank my team for putting together our annual green workforce job training program, in which we have residents from the first ward and across the city participating, in which they'll get 6 different certifications that state recognized after they complete this state training program, and they have opportunities to get hired into the industry with green technology and some of these new jobs coming down the pipeline. And that is going very well. Also, I want to thank the executive director at the Mayor Senior and Community Center, as well as the city of Flint, as well as legal services of Eastern Michigan.
Please hold. Please pause this time.
Madam Chair,
Would you
please bring the audience to
Absolutely. I would ask that the audience members would please remain from influence while the speaker is speaking. If you would like to step into the hallway to continue your conversation, please feel free. Go ahead, Michelle.
I also want to give a shout out to everyone who came out as well as our child support clinic last Friday. We was able to help over 50 individuals get their record expunged and caught up on their child support, and so that they can move forward with their lives without worrying about being arrested. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, we'll put the meeting at ease until we can reestablish quorum.
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman.
thank you. I would like to compel our colleague, Dennis Pfeiffer, who's standing in the door, I believe that's Tanya Burns, also in the foyer, if they could come in so we can proceed with the city's business.
Well, we still have 5 people because Jonathan Jared is actually still in the chamber. I'm looking at him, so we can proceed with our meeting.
Oh,
I'm
thank
going to continue and go ahead with my council response. So I do want to commend you all for what you have on one of your awards. Congratulations to you on the Litter League. I heard amazing things about it. People still showing up to clean up in the rain. We're tackling blight on one of the ends of the city that is much needed. So congratulations on a successful inaugural effort, and I know that it will continue. Nice ring. Congratulations to Councilwoman Priestley. And the 4th Ward cleanup. I know it was put together by a 4th Ward resident, and she put a lot of time and effort into making sure that it could happen. And so, just congratulations on the 4 meetings. I know it's just the beginning, but at least you all have started, and it's much needed in the 4th Ward. Congratulations, Councilman Alameda. You have countless things happening in the 1st Ward all at once right now, from the expungement that's going on to a lot of workplaces that's going on, and you continue to tackle life, so thank you so much. I do want to thank all the residents who showed up in the 7th Ward, because now is the perfect time to start planting trees, and we know that trees They are great filters for our lungs, they're great shade in the summertime to keep us from becoming a concrete jungle. They also cover floodplains to keep people's homes safe from flooding and them having those insurance costs. So thank you to everyone that showed up at the 7th board and planted trees over the weekend. That ends council response. I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda. Councilwoman in the 4th ward.
Ain't got enough votes. That's finna
Been
fail.
moved and you can't vote on it. Mr. Jared is in the chambers. He's just in the back sitting with the administration, but he is here in the chambers. So we can move this consent agenda as soon as he comes back to the seat. Mr. Pfeiffer is also staying right there at the door. So as soon as they rejoin the meeting, we will be able to move our consent agenda. But Mr. Jared is in the chambers.
Madam Chair. Yeah, and I also just want to acknowledge I didn't do so when it was my time. We have 3 heroes in the building. We have 3 heroes in the building. Yes, we have Mr. Christopher Smith, Mr. Angel Hunter, and Mr. Jalen Washington, who are responsible for saving the lives of Flint residents. They are here. They are here. Yeah, so can you all stand up, please? Right. Yeah. So as soon as quorum is established, okay, yeah, well, as soon as our colleague come from back there, we can move you, hopefully move you all toward the front so we can present you with your acknowledgements.
I wanted to make sure it did, because you kept saying that we're getting more sewage, that's not.
No, they were out 4 hours. 4 hours.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you told me about it, because nobody should be. She went home. She was just standing behind me.
Can I get 3 more minutes, please? Another thing that I was concerned about is how.
Sir.
Pastor Martin, we're at ease.
Excuse me.
Pastor Martin.
Sir.
Hello, people.
Sir. That's not what we do.
Crazy. United States. What?
They lost Quorum.
Hey, y'all catch myself. They don't say you can't have right tomorrow. You can't have it. Where's the second law?
I know one thing, when you got the next meeting.
He can come in tonight.
Where's your sidekick at?
They want us to speak. I know.
They want to fucking speak. And that green guy, he been good. Chick Green, he's a chicken.
Discrepancies they have here in Flint. They did me and my sister like that at the park. That was all illegal, what Chief Green just did, what Terrence just did, because I'm going to address him as Terrence like he addressed me by my first name. Terrence just did something illegal to Jedediah. Told him he had to leave because he had the bullhorn in here that he wasn't even using. But you didn't tell people they had to leave. You didn't tell the council they had to leave when they brought guns in here against me and Gina, or when they brought them over there. Because she claimed and lied and claimed we was trying to jump her. Y'all need to shut this meeting down. This is legally ran anyway. You ain't even have quorum. That just go to show you the discrepancy that you want to have. What you want to do. You have one person. You can't call me as one person. Illegal all day.
Yeah, they are.
No, I ain't seen what you wrote about it.
I gotta mail her I know they don't push it either. Yeah, they push it. I got something. Just go across the street. Man got the face, right? So he was in the 2 weeks. They came up, gave her a report, and I was there for an hour and 20 minutes. Got her unexcused touching on her naked. She was
So all they did was just put him out of city council, they put him out the building.
They pushed him into the elevator, pushed him out the door.
So when they put him out. And I was here for that, so.
Yeah, that's definitely edible.
They can do that, they love that. They used to be able to see the city.
And he got it all. They talked to a couple of people Tanya, she was recording. Then he tried to tell people. He stood there and just making it.
Wow, that's all this green.
Yeah, I mean, he was right up in her face. She got on there. Put that pretty trophy up there. He was standing right at the door. I mean, he was right there. And he was kept threatening
Chief had the nerve to tell me to get out of the elevator. I said, you can't put me out of the elevator.
I just told him.
Yeah, what?
And I said to that way, I said, why are you letting them allow it? He wouldn't even give him his badge. I don't have a badge. Your badge is right there.
Wow.
He wouldn't give his name. By law, they have to be
Don't stop and record and watch it. Hope somebody else can stop and jump off the trash. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Because what they did was illegal. They took the box and it was illegal.
Are you doing a paperwork? Is they even gonna talk about
You want to sign your name? Go back to the sign your name. Sign your name on that thing. We always spoken about that. Let the book be short.
Don't leave your water, they might poison it. Mickey might watch it. He was watching it. Yeah, thank you. I know I walked out of here, I was already down there. Yeah, don't let them poison. You can't donate if they poison.
Yeah, basketball games, I don't see too many.
The next round will be better.
What's the name? He gonna leave me walking Giannis.
Giannis
I look at him on the sideline. He ain't look too happy.
Yeah. I don't think he don't seem like he the type of either. But they might trade him.
Just tears.
Giannis them got lucky the year they won. They had a decent team. They back to normal now.
And football, I can't believe Deion's son didn't get drafted early. That's some shaft.
Bunch of grifters.
I think he should have been drafted higher up.
Yeah.
But I got
Bunch
to
of
figure.
grifters.
All right, the time is now 5:12. I now would like to just compel my colleagues to please take their elected seats. So we have visitors here, so we want to be respectful of their time, so we can move on with the meeting, please.
No. No.
Just say, is it about
They want to say, start back up, but they don't have quorum, they don't have the right to start back up. Well, the sleazy four, that's what you see. They always trying to do business illegal. Sleazy four. Scumbags.
Councilwoman Burns, we're compelling you to come to your seat so we can formally acknowledge the heroes. Councilwoman Burns.
The council will allow the clerk to take this time to establish a quorum.
You don't have
Madam Clerk, will you please? They're all actually in the building. I think they're in the council office. So if you ask them if they plan to come to this meeting, that would be lovely.
They don't have quorum.
She ain't figured that out.
I mean, I don't care if they have quorum. I just want them to do the presentation and then I can
Mr.
speak.
Jones, please stop yelling out. That doesn't look good.
And we don't like a lot of things too. Shit in one hand and wish in the other. Skank. You know, I got the rag on these grifter and scumbags. This pig with red lipstick on. Just because she wears red lipstick, that still makes her a pig.
Miss Willis said she was gonna be late.
She did? Wow.
Mickey, you know she's got so much going on. The woman sits and cries, and when she ain't crying, she's not being kind to herself. She's not being kind to herself. She is wearing herself down. She's burning herself at both ends like a candle burning in the wind. You know. All of a sudden say, Miss Winnis, what are you doing? And she'll say, Gladys, how do you know to text me when things are like kicking me? I tell her, you know, Miss Winnis. I'll be her little guardian angel. I love that woman so much. I know what she goes through. Because I went through it, and I had two husbands that beat me. And if it wasn't for picking husbands that beat me, I wouldn't have a husband. And her daughters are watching this, and that he won't come. He'd pick his girlfriend over his daughters on Easter weekend. You think that don't hurt? That hurts. Dirty bastard. I love Sister Venus. I mean, I'd take her right out of 810. I'd put her right here in the Lord's hands. That's where I put her. Hey, Mr. John came to my house Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up.
Picked up, I signed up 5 doctor releases, hospital releases, and I gave him all of my hospital doctor bills. And I gave him that complaint that they summoned me with because of Lewis. Remember when Lewis held? Okay, well, you know what? They haven't given me a court date. They hold that over my head.
Wow.
They hold that over my head, and that was what, December 23rd, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Now you tell me how that's right. Listen, I was out there in the elevator, and the chief had the nerve to tell me to get out of the elevator. I said, you can't put me out of the elevator.
Terrible. They're doing what they want to do.
They are. Scumbags. Skanks. Bunch of skanks. Even Leon's a skank.
Tell her to go on our city of Flint website. She can print it right off from there for her city council. Everything she needs, she'll do it. If she has any issues, just let me know.
Hey, what up with show?
Madam Chair.
Oh, my back hurt.
The council members will not be returning to this meeting.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, did you talk to the councilwoman in the 5th Ward, Ms. Jerwood Ricardo, who is in the building? Will she be returning to this meeting?
No.
Did you talk to the 6th Ward Councilwoman, Tanya Burns, who is in the building? Will she be returning to this meeting?
No.
Did you talk to the 8th Ward Councilperson, Dennis Pfeiffer, who is in this building? Will he be returning to the meeting?
No.
Did you talk to the 9th Ward Councilperson, Jonathan Jarrett, who is in this building? Will he be returning to the meeting?
No.
So, council people in the 5th, 6th, 8th, and 9th Ward, that's all. You to return to the council meeting
Yes, they won't be returning to this meeting.
And are they experiencing some sort of medical emergency to your knowledge? Excuse me, officer, I am trying to conduct business and Gladys Williamson is screaming out. That is your second warning. That is your second warning. I'm informed. That is your second warning. Please remove her from my meeting. All of those people are guilty of obstruction. Didn't she put out the elevator?
Open the window for Jared.
Yeah. This is crazy because they don't have quorum.
Skanks.
That's right. That's right. I remember when we started, when the water crisis first started, they said, this is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. The injustice that happens to the people. This is what democracy looks like. This is what they call democracy. This is what it looks like. They using that. You remember that? They didn't chant that. That was a chant. This is what democracy looks like. Yeah, they think it's funny. They think you at the back of their feet. We'll see next year. He who laughs first, laugh last. That's all I got to say.
Oh, they closing the window.
Out there hollering in, right?
They closing the windows up.
I told when I was downstairs, I said, the cops are down there. Go down there to the windows.
Wow. Wow. They closed the windows up.
Phone with the man.
Look, this person got my $10 in. Y'all man. They won't call me. They keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Somebody's gonna come back. Keep hope alive. They said keep hope alive. They won't call me. They want to keep hope alive. yard. I got things I'm trying to do. I'm planting sunflowers. Maybe I'll plant a little tree. In the backyard. I got space, I need another tree back there. Or maybe I'll do something that's sensible and plant apple. You know, they cut all the apple trees down on the port of Triple A. Yeah, but now they're planting little trees people can't even eat. For what they use for the cut down the little trees, they put a tree to those apple trees people can still eat. They don't care about people eating. Wow. That's a long hour. It's crazy. Keep hope alive. I'm going home and enjoy the rest of this day. It's beautiful out. I took a long nap this afternoon. It's time for me to go home and relax. For real, I'm just hanging my heart because I went to sleep so tired because I had done so much this weekend. And my body was just kind of gnawing. Nobody's here. And so, as a matter of fact, I would have overstepped a little bit, got down here when I did, but then somebody knocking on the door. The kids that came home from school. And I'm like, where your mama at? Your mama, she was right around the corner. I said, hey, I remember I left them there for not even 5 minutes. I said, I met her again. She's on her way back to the house. Cool, I'm out. Where them fans at? I'm sitting raised up. My granddaughter was asleep in the car. I said, where them fans at? She's asleep. She's there. I can't go take her. I had to put her on paper. She listened to this song too many times. We was cracking up laughing. I was laughing. I had to raise his laughing. I said, I can't see if I can just keep laughing myself. And they called me crazy. Y'all couldn't call for police backup when the Murphys was here. When I was told that they was in your father in his glass and all that stuff, they didn't call for backup then. But you call for backup now. And it's going to show you the injustice. They show you and they show you the percentage of everything. I like Billy well enough, but he put his hands up there. In the hall, where I was like, don't want hands on, let him come Terrence, I'm always going to call him Terrence now. He ain't Keith Green no more. He's just Terrence. Terrence will say, I please. So Terrence, you need to we're going to get him out of here. Come on, that guy, let's go. You see them coming at you, you always see me jump on the TV. I don't care. I see them beside the road. I don't give a damn. I don't care. She should be doing to try to see how things are weird. That jump is jacked up. He put it on the ground. I do like a brand new Rich, did you see it? Come show us the picture. Come make sure they're right. Pull another.
the mayor called. So, yeah, about it. So what do we do? There's
They wanna know what y'all eat. They wanna know what y'all eat. They wanna know what y'all feel.
Yeah, I was in a medical emergency. It's none of their business. That's why I said, they say that even y'all damn
We don't have an ordinance or anything like that against,
Moving on to the consent agenda, what is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
The pleasure body to call a point of order. Gladys is back in this meeting, and she received 2 warnings. She should be out of this meeting.
Correct. This is not the second meeting, please exit.
oh, this the same, that's the whole meeting. Oh, y'all go back out. Go back out.
Candace,
Go back out.
Councilperson Jared? We're gonna, please stay so we can. We know that you're a man of God, and you say that you follow God.
And you ain't a woman of
So
God.
we're asking if you would do the right thing.
Beverly Banks, Lady, that is your first warning. Please stop yelling out.
We're asking you to do the right thing, and please stay for the meeting so we can acknowledge community heroes, so we can have our hearing. Councilman Jared?
Rich Jones, please stop yelling out.
Look your video.
I guess we'll wait for Councilman Pfeiffer to come back in. I think he's waiting for the next meeting. However, there are agenda items on this meeting that we really need to get to. And so I guess since Councilman Pfeiffer is still in the building, we'll just wait for them to join this meeting.
Good luck.
They're gonna attack me, my family. Flint City Police.
They put it at recess.
If you are a Christian, then how do you have to
Stop yelling out.
They're trying to get this first one going, it's not going. Because when Jared came back up here, and Tom, when he came up here, they said, well, this is for the second meeting. They said, no, this is for the first. We told them to get up, get on. That's what they're waiting on. The first one is over with. Go to the second. They don't want to do the second. They're out. That's the capital?
Yeah.
Two guys there. Yeah, son got picked up finally.
Tampa Bay.
He said he wasn't good enough. The reason why I keep telling people the reason is because they knew if he would start and his father get out and get out and say, hey man, this team sucks. Before my son got here, y'all got him out here playing. He played hard as he can, and y'all ain't get no players out here on the team. That's what they're afraid of. If Dion's father would say that. And that's why they do that BS. That's why they do that. His father gonna stand up, and a couple teams know that he'll stand up and say, hey, y'all need to like, he with Tampa now. But he's gonna play back up because he can't. They ain't gonna let him start over for the West End. So that's good. I'm when what's the name gonna come back? Got Butler. That fall Butler there. I didn't think he can come back. They say he is, but we'll have to see.
Maybe for the next one.
That fall he took that way now.
Yeah, for the next one. Can't go to everybody's houses and I'm selling it now. Especially don't have it. He's not gonna have it either. So how they gonna come? How they gonna bring it in? That's what I was trying to tell somebody. They said they come beat down y'all here. I believe the next meeting is going to be worse than this. It's going to be worse than this. We'll have this vote. We'll pick up the third council, the city council.
They supposed to.
Can I hear this? Come to the forum. Mr. Christopher Smith and Mr. Jay Washington, please come to the forum.
Illegally, because they ain't got proof. Illegally.
They could have done that early when all of them was up there. They could have done that early, you know. They didn't want us to speak.
Madam Chair. Councilwoman, through you to the city attorney. Can we still have a presentation by actually capitalizing special order for to pass business?
I believe that is classified as civil business.
Okay, thank you.
Candace messed it up. Should have let RL speak.
Yeah, for real. Oh yeah, they ain't closing nothing out. What's that, 6 o'clock?
She was saying something was going to be happening today at 6 o'clock.
No, yeah, she probably gone. I didn't know that was, Yeah, this is crazy right here, though. Huh? You say what?
Can you hear that? Can you hear
Smash that like button, family. Eleanor Walker, they blocking because the city, whoever running the city, they ain't caring right now. Yeah, I think Jed's still outside, ain't he? Yeah, Jed.
But they had a police back.
For real? So he banned from city council. How has he been? What did he do to get banned?
I guess they actually the deal about her daddy's water bill.
Wow. Do they? Don't they know he can go to a judge and the judge will be able to let him come back? You have a lawsuit against this. I guess they want to pay people here. I see. Damn. Grace and peace. Good afternoon. Good evening. Eleanor Wicker, good evening. And Deborah Luna, thanks for the super chat.
If he believe anything he say, he gonna be crazy.
Oh, Ariel just sitting up there. Ariel just sitting up there. They is terrific.
If he believe anything lying Leon say.
But we won't be having council no time soon. Facts. If he come into City Hall, he's going to jail. I don't know how you can ban somebody. they ban jail right off the dribble without a judge agreeing on it and everything. What up, Lil Kyle Lewis, Miss D? Yeah, he come back in there, Jed's going to jail. Yeah, he's still outside.
Then they got shaky syndrome here. I guess
Oh yeah, Doug. Yeah, Doug, yeah. Yeah, this was a terrible one. But y'all see they was up there smiling when people was getting put out. Oh yeah, Jed about to make some money. Jed about to come on. Yeah, they tripping. Look, Candace won't end this meeting to save her life. Yeah, Candace don't want to end this meeting to save her life. Always. Oh yeah, Jed doing right. All is well. Okay, Kyle. Yeah, they finna have Jed finna leave Flint 6 figures because of these fools. Nah, they ain't doing this. They ain't adjourning this meeting for nothing. We gonna probably be here then at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, shake them. I just looked at that. I just looked at that when you in the what's the name? I had to go to a couple appointments today. I ain't forgot about you, shake the room. I still gotta send John everybody so they can get their hats and cup. I ain't forgot about y'all. Oh yeah, he is rattling some cages. Yeah, I gotta send the addresses off and everything. Yeah, I've been so tired. I got the chairs up. I ain't even hooked up the new chairs up in there. Oh, nothing but madness up this way. Nothing but madness. We still waiting for them to end this meeting to go to another meeting, which ain't gonna never happen. Yeah, we still in the first meeting. What time is it anyway? Oh yeah, it's 6 o'clock. They ain't even going to the other meeting. Yeah, I think so, just over 6 o'clock. And this meeting started at what, 4 o'clock, 4:30? Okay. Ms. Eunice is nothing, still waiting on them to end this meeting before we can get to the next one. Thanks, Pastor Nicholas J. Gaddis. Yeah, this is a circus. They still waiting on, it's 6 o'clock. I don't know why they want to adjourn. I wish they adjourned so we can get to the next one. Ariel's sitting up in the front. He ain't came back here yet. Yeah, Ariel's still up in the front. He ain't came back yet. Ariel right up in the front. No, AC, you know what? I ain't seen AC at a kind of council in a minute. AC ain't been here in a minute. I mean, if they keep trying to wait on this one meeting to come, it's going to be a no-go. Oh, you know they doing that, Miss Eunice. They want Jed out this thing. They don't want Jed. They so mad Jed in this thing, they don't know what to do. They want Jed in this, but Jed and came up here and shook something up. They better get it together. Why they put, because Jed went up there doing intermission. You can't do nothing when it's recess. Recess, you gotta be quiet even if they don't have quorum. What up, Michelle, AKA Ann, Michelle Smith, good evening. Priscilla Peterson, good evening. Thanks for tapping in. In the council meeting. I don't know what they're trying to do, A. Jones. This shit is some of the craziest stuff. The administration gonna leave at 9 o'clock anyway.
The time is now 6:03 p.m. on Monday, April 28th. I call the Special Affairs Committee meeting to a close is now adjourned due to lack of quorum. By the 5th, 6th, 8th, and 9th council board members.
How you gonna alley Nicole, Gaddis Rivers? Oh, they finally closed this meeting out, huh? What's up, Tasha Lynn? Well, they know this meeting is closed, so we can get time to a new meeting.
It is 6:05 p.m. And in accordance with section 3-01B of the Flint City Charter, I am calling this council meeting to order. And we'll start with the roll call. Mr. Alvin?
Present.
Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley? Present. Ms. Burns? Present. All right, Ms. Quincy Carter is not in. Ms. Michelle? Present. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jared is not in. You have 5 members present. And also in accordance with section 3-01, one of the order for the purpose of electing a city council president.
Madam Clerk,
Ms. Priestley?
make a motion to move the election of city council president and president, et cetera, to
Ms. Priestley has made a motion to move the organization of the council to the end of the agenda. And that motion is supported by Mr. Alvin. So we'll have a roll call on that motion.
Here we go again.
Mr. Alvin? Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Mr. Carter is not in. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Michelle? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. So the organization of city council will be moved to the end of the agenda. And we'll move on with the opening ceremony.
Here we go. I didn't hear no gavel.
All right, now it's time for the pledge of allegiance. Ms. Priestley, thank you so much.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. So now it's time for the prayer of blessing. Do we have anyone that would like to acknowledge someone that made a transition? All right. Seeing that we have no one, I would like to just remember the bereaved families in the city of Flint, as well as the family of the latest youth victim over there on the west side. We had another young person that was murdered. All right, so we will go ahead and proceed with our blessing. So Councilwoman Burns, would you please lead us in the blessing?
Councilwoman Lewis, I will now ask God to bless this mess.
All right, so since you will not lead us in the blessing, Councilwoman Shad, would you please lead us in the blessing?
Why don't you leave it? Yeah. Make me puke.
Fall minds in prayer. Heavenly Father God, we come to you in Jesus' name, just first and foremost, thank you for allowing us to live to see another day. Thank you for your grace, your mercy, your love, and your favor. We thank you now for safe travels as we all go to our respective dwellings. God, we thank you for keeping us as we travel to this meeting. We ask now that we will be able to help us in the business, do things to uplift and edify your kingdom, Lord God. We ask that we can all be on one accord and get things done. It is in the mighty name of Jesus that we thank you. We know that your name is mighty. We pray, amen.
Amen. All right, so now it's time for the reading of the Shorty Park City Code subsection, which goes as follows. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault, battery, disorderly person, and will be subject to arrest for misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting this meeting, then it will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from meetings. Now, we are at request for agenda changes.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I see that we do have, Ashley Capital here, and we're having a public hearing, happening. They were supposed to give a 15-minute presentation during community affairs, which was to go ahead of the public hearing. I'm asking that that 15-minute presentation go before the public hearing on this agenda.
No.
Okay, so you want the presentation to go before the public hearing?
Now, how did I hear
Yes.
All right, so I will order that without objection. As well as the chair will entertain a motion for the rest of the items from special affairs to be transferred over.
Okay. You ready to speak?
So moved. Support.
All right, then, support it. So,
Madam Chair,
go ahead.
so are you adding Ashley Capital in with, or are you doing the separate? Removing the items that did not make it over to be considered for the St. Mark's Church.
Right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna move everything from special affairs over to the council meeting.
And let me finish, please. So the special affairs, I mean, youth arts unlocked is on there, is that correct?
No.
So we have, I'm putting all this together, which would be reallocation of our funds, youth job training, City of Flint, second clean the safe summer program. Are we putting that on there?
We're moving everything from special affairs
That was
to the
required,
council.
yes, okay, no problem, thank you.
All right. And we will place those items.
Madam Chair.
Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to know that the presentation was, done.
Yes.
So they
Without
had to leave, so we can't move that over because they're no longer here.
I said.
The presentation for the heroes,
Mhm.
they are gone, and so we're not able to do that presentation.
Well, we can, because we still have some footage and we
Okay,
can.
thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I object.
Object to what?
I object to moving the item go from special affairs over to, council.
Okay, that's fine. So we will just take a roll call vote for moving.
So, Madam Chair, the only thing left to move would be the, youth jobs, is the only thing left to move.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I don't want to be clear. So, Ms. Burns, so you object to honoring the heroes in the city? Is that what you object to as well? As these jobs?
Madam Chair, those are the only two items to be moved over, the youth jobs and the honoring of the heroes.
I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry, I said, Madam Chair. I said those are the only two things left to be moved over from special affairs, are the youth jobs and the honoring of the heroes.
Yes. And she said that she objects. I'm just trying to be clear on what she's objecting. Is she objecting one, which is the youth jobs, or is she objecting both, the youth jobs as well as the honoring of our heroes?
Madam Chair, can you say that there's no one here for the heroes? That they have left?
They did.
They have left.
Yep.
Okay, well then,
So you object to that as well? Maybe again. So.
I checked, we figured it out.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I can't speak for her, but deductive reasoning would state if, she is saying there are no heroes for her to honor, so she can't be objecting to that. I think she's objecting to the youth jobs.
Understood. I just want to make it clear for the record. All right, so we will have a roll call vote to move the reallocation of ARPA funds for the youth jobs. And that is resolution 250140, reallocation of ARPA funds for youth job training, City of Flint Second Clean Summer Program. So we would have a roll call vote to move that from special affairs to the council agenda. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns.
No.
Ms. Mashat.
Yes.
Mr. Piper is not in.
I don't know.
Mr. Taylor is not in. Mr. Alvin.
Yes.
The vote is 4 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 1 no. So that item, which is the reallocation of ARPA funds for youth job training for the City of Flint Second Clean and Safe Summer Program, which is the job program for youth, that has been left in special affairs for the lack of votes. So now we will move on to the presentation. So we have a presentation, Mr. Quimby from Acton Capital.
Don't they got a vote for that?
You gotta vote for that.
Well, they ain't even got a vote for it.
They probably passed another vote.
Do what they want to do. Grape juice go down. My legs bleed. Anytime they let it go.
Don't figure out a vote. Ask the couple of the meeting.
I'm getting ready to leave.
Everyone see that?
Capital.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Mark Ruby with House Capital. I'm working and responsible for this project. What we're talking about today is the Brownfield plan, amendment number 1. The Brownfield plan was approved in 2023. And this amendment is pretty straightforward, and I'll try to respect all everybody's time. So really quickly, I'm just going to summarize the 2023 Brownfield plan and then what this amendment is about. So if you recall, in 2023, when the Brownfield plan was approved, $72.5 million was the total tax capture for eligible activities. That included $17 million in grants that were awarded to the project. The Brownfield captured 80% of the new taxes and 20% went to the local jurisdictions. And the reimbursement was a 25-year reimbursement with that capture. That's the gist of it. This diagram basically explains what's going on with this plan. So essentially, we added in additional parcels, which is why we require this amendment. So as you can see, we added in the old park parcel, which we purchased last year. We added in the parcel that we bought that surrounds the Butte City Event Center. And then we also added a small parcel that is on the far left-hand side of the screen that is south of the spiral well, north of Stewart. When we added these new land, we added the investment for our second building, which was the nanograph project, which added in $4.8 million of new activities. But we also took a credit on the Brownfield for $5.9 million, which was the value of an additional grant that we were able to get for relocating the sewer that was in the plan. So on a net basis, it reduced the Brownfield plan for $1.1 million. So the capture went from 72.5 to 71.4. Everything else is essentially the same, except the reimbursement is faster because there's more investment. So this amendment is basically, it's more for less. That's the bottom line. What this diagram is this is just kind of showing what the tax capture looks like with these new projections. The red is the taxes that are generated from the property currently. The orange is the taxes being generated by building 1, which are not in the plan, but we're just showing that that investment happened and is not part of this plan. The green is the captured new taxes, or the new taxes that are going directly to the city and the other jurisdictions. And the TIF capture is in gray, which is showing the reimbursement. The main difference I wanted to do was, this is the plan that was approved in 2023. So you can see the capture goes all the way to 2025. And then now this new plan, you can see the capture got pulled ahead by 4 years because of the additional investment. So essentially this plan is, it's less reimbursement, faster reimbursement with more investment. And we hopefully we can get your support on this, which allows us to move to the next part. And I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
your last statement, can you repeat that again?
We're reducing the capture, so it's less money, but more investment and the city gets their full tax benefits faster.
Madam Chair.
Please hold, Ms. Michelle. You good? Oh, okay. All right, go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Thank you. So, can you break it down into terms, you showed 2 graphs, so that the residents can understand. So we're looking at the graph, and we're almost looking at just to have one on one side and the other on the other. So it looked like before at year 20, it's kind of hard, it's 27, that we would have been basically a full capture.
Yeah, year 26.
26, okay, well, I was
You're
close.
very close. Yeah.
And so with this one, okay, year 26 changed, but with the new, with changes, it's now what year?
Functionally, it's 21. There's a little bit in 21, but it's not very much.
Okay, okay. And so this will make a difference because when you say tax capture, most people don't understand.
Sure.
Because this is language you talk every day. Can you break it down why this is important, so that everyone can understand?
Sure.
Thank you.
So the way a Brownfield plan works, right, is that the problem is ultimately what you want is a project that will sustain market rates, right, market rent. And the issue is that the costs to redevelop Buick City are so exorbitant because of all the demolition that's required from the buildings and the contamination that we'd never be able to get there without some kind of, public-private partnership, which this tax structure, Michigan is set up as really a desire to see these kind of properties redeveloped. So what the plan does is, in what the law allows is a developer can capture up to 100% of the new taxes. So it freezes the taxes that they are now, you spend a whole bunch of money to make the property work, and then you can capture 100% of the new taxes. When we structured the first plan, it was really important to us that Flint got immediate benefit. So the plan was structured as an 80-20, so that means that 80% goes to reimburse all of these extraordinary costs, but 20% of any new taxes just goes through and everybody gets it. So the county gets their piece, the city gets their piece, the state gets their piece. Now what happens is when the plan is fully paid off, then it just goes like there's no tax capture, and so the city gets all of the taxes. So under the old plan, the city got 20% of all new taxes through year 25 or 26. The new plan is they get 20% through year 21, but then after that they get everything.
Okay, and so a lot of people understand. So the contamination of the site, I've had this conversation with you, and I've had even with people who worked at Buick and asked you, when you were at my dad's house, will you ever get all the contamination out?
No. So the idea is that for a site like this with the levels of impact that you have, what you're really focused on is control. So the idea is you don't want any contamination getting in sewers, you don't want any contamination migrating off the property. So what we have to do is we have to deal with all the demolition and deal with all the contamination in a way that contains it on site and then caps it with the development itself. So all the pavements in the buildings, that all acts as the cap to contain everything and keep it safe.
So one of the things you talked about, they're doing work, and you have to change out certain of the sewers.
Yeah.
And what's the difference in the sewers? A lot of people, when we look at construction, General Motors was in 19, oh gosh, when they started, I can't remember, started the carriage factory. So you're putting in new sewage drainage, and what's the difference? What are you pulling out, and what are you putting in?
Right, so the issue is the sewers there's a huge public sewer that runs right through the Buick City site. It's made out of clay bricks, okay?
How long has that been there?
Over 100 years. So it's over 100 years old, there's contamination in the groundwater, contamination can get into that sewer and then
That's where all the machine.
So what we're doing is we're demolishing that sewer and we're building a new sewer that is built out of chemically resistant materials with sealed watertight gaskets, and we're basically building in a whole new sewer line that then it's slightly moved to the north, but then it reconnects to the system. So what that does is none of the contamination in the groundwater can get into the sewer system.
How long is the new system that you're repairing? Because that site runs for 7 years, or?
Yeah.
What's the distance that you're replacing?
I'd have to measure it, but it's probably about a mile or close to that, because it runs from east to west, so it's running basically from, the railroad tracks to industrial.
Okay. I yield the floor.
All right, anyone else have any questions for Mr. Quigley, Manager Capital? Any more questions? Well, seeing none, I believe that is all.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and this concludes our special presentation. So now it is time for our public hearing regarding this presentation, amendment number 1, Flint Commerce City Brownfield Plan. And we will wait for the clerk to give me the sign that they're ready to proceed. And just, Mr. Jones, no. My last And so what we need to have happen, we need for the residents to understand that your comments need to be specific to this public hearing. And it is talking specifically about the Brownfield plan. If you're not talking about the Brownfield plan, I'm going to stop you and give you an opportunity to get on track. Otherwise, your time will be removed and we will have to go on to the next speaker. But I want to make sure that we have clarity regarding that. All right, so are you ready, Madam Clerk? Okay, thank you. All right, so now it's time for the public hearing. Resolution 240-546.6. And per tradition, I usually go to the attorney and ask the attorney, is there anything that you want to share about this specific public hearing before we begin?
No, other than this is the 10th day that we wanted to make sure that this public hearing goes forward, or it would have to be renoticed in another 10 days, would have to end before we come back again.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so without further ado, we'll go ahead and move forward with the public hearing. First public speaker, please.
This is where you can just step up to the microphone.
Hello, Council. I'm Arnold, and I'm speaking on the Brownfield situation. Over about the railroad track, this tunnel, they said it was 7 miles, but he just said it's only a mile through the industrial. And like McCullough Street, and like that church, McCullough ran all the way back up to where we supposed to get up on the church, $50,000, all up way up there too. That's just like the Brownfield, because right on McCullough and Saginaw, there's 2 motorcycle clubs. That's a Brownfield too. Named Zodiac and the Sons of Thunder and the Eagles. And we're supposed to be down there, I think tomorrow, every kid in Flint, when they talk about basketball and going to be winning, supposed to be there for Ward 1 to cut them ribbons. And the 3rd ward, the city gone and everybody else gone, but we got to represent the 3rd ward to get the presidency. And that's the main Brownfield, the whole city become a Brownfield. And national capital trying to capitalize on this stuff by building on disturbed land, and we doctors ain't getting away with nothing, just like Miss Mohammed over there. Grabbed this dude with the bullhorn, and he looked glad. Mohammed didn't see that stuff. You don't think it's one of his boys. You don't play that stuff. It ain't even possible. The chief of police grabbing like they had told him, putting his hand on the public, and all that stuff, and this Muhammad all in the way. You might think that's one of his boys getting treated. And Muhammad don't play that stuff. You stay tuned, America. See what we got to deal with it. All the people trying to take away the black people land and kick it to the curb. All right, that's another stuff.
All right, next speaker.
Thank you for letting us slide. Thank you for being here, Ms. Brown. I got a few questions. The number one question I have is, Where are they at currently on the process of cleaning that work site up? How long is it gonna take before there's actually a building on the premises? What kind of building is gonna be on there? In other words, what kind of jobs? And the reason why I say that is because we need to be preparing our residents in the city of Flint for those jobs. So we need to stay ahead of the game, man. I hear the word taxes. The taxes is what being paid from the citizens of Flint. And the gray part, it what comes back to the Ashley, and the green part is what comes back to the city of Flint. I was wondering in the future, starting today, as far as those neighborhood agreements that we be talking about, can we get some of those neighborhood agreements to cut down some of that $72 million that the residents have to pay over the next 30 years? And I am not against this project at all. We need the jobs. We need it. But we need to be spoken to the right way, because this was brought to the residents of Flint as a 3,000 job conversation. It wasn't no spend $72 million, clean up a work site, build a building, then 3,000 jobs. So that wool has already been pulled over our eyes. Please don't pull any more wool over our eyes as far as this project is going. Please let us know where are you at when it comes to cleaning up the work site. How long it's going to take you to build a building there, and what kind of business are you going to be building there, and are you preparing as residents of the city of Flint to take those jobs, and also look for neighborhood agreements to help pay for some, and also, I got 33 seconds left, so I can say this. Also, look for some neighborhood agreements to pay the KWA bond that we pay for also. Thank you.
All right, next speaker for the public hearing. All right, seeing that no one?
Yeah, wait, excuse me?
Go ahead.
Seems I ain't gonna run up there to get.
Ma'am, please approach the lectern.
As far as that contaminated land goes, I worked at Buick. I worked on the engine floor. And that contaminated land he's talking about, that is where all the machine coolant chemicals ran. That's what he's talking about. And that's gonna take a whole lot more money than what he's talking about, because that cement cooling thing process ran the full length from the engine plant all the way up to Buick City. And I know because I worked there. And I worked on the machine floor. And I was machine setup. So, and my husband was on 72 department, and they, at changeover, cleaned those traps. So what he's saying is a lie. Gonna take a whole lot more money than that to clean that. That's why it ain't been dealt with. Because it's gonna take a whole lot more money than that.
All right.
And so and second, I don't see where they've showed me where all them chemicals from that plant that they're gonna put there, I don't see where that's gonna end up anywhere else but the Flint River. Just like DuPont's chemicals ended up in the Flint River. And DuPont was never our Flint River. And what makes the people of Flint think that this project's gonna be any different than the pollution that we're already dealing with? Hello, cancers, mental illness, you name it. And Flint citizens have it because of these great projects that they want to bring to Flint. And second of all, they don't have the right fire equipment to handle a fire that would happen due to this plant and the chemicals and the products that they're going to be building. No, they don't. So I just want to let you know, don't be fooled, because you ain't fooling me, and as long as I got lungs and speak, you ain't fooling me.
All right. Anyone else like to speak in the public hearing? You go ahead. Please do.
That's right.
Yes, Audrey Young Muhammad, Second Ward.
That's right.
Ditto and off of what they've all said. Where do you start? Don't worry, the DuPont's gonna be, they just set themselves for doom because they have poisoned the city of Flint.
That's right.
Not only just the city of Flint, many other places. You can talk to some of the former employees of GM, they talk about how they went and dumped the lead paint in the water.
Uh-huh.
So I've had some patients of mine who told me about some of that stuff and they just messed up because when the water became contaminated. But just talking about that field down there, that part of the land where you're talking about cleaning up, it's already contaminated way outside of that. My daughter did the soil sampling and some of the things that she had done in conjunction with some of the other organizations here. I had the pleasure of working with her one whole summer when we found so many contaminants beyond just the lead, the asbestos, the other stuff in the land that's in the soil, in the people's homes, in their land around where that plant is at. The people can't even go out and think about growing good, healthy vegetables in their yard because the land is so contaminated. When she started, she rented the equipment, thank God, because nobody here in the city of Flint would try to sponsor her and her program. She even took it up to the north. She took it to the Flint Development Center. They rejected her, but then they got funding to do some stuff from some other places to run their program there that she's running. And she ended up getting her funding directly from California. So she comes in and she does the soil sampling with the children. Like I said, there's a lot of other things in that land that's all the way around there. It's going to take a lot more than what you all are talking about to even clean up and make it healthy, even for people to even go through there. People around there, my sister died, and I know some of the things she lived in that area. Some of the contaminants from that area, when she found out the land was no good, she stopped growing vegetables. She tried to teach healthy gardening. We talk about doing gardening initiatives around here, but yet still talking about doing it in contaminated soil. And then you have people from different governmental agencies that go out there and say, well, it's okay, it ain't no lead in it, but it's asbestos and other stuff and other contaminants in the soil. I'm all for getting us some jobs here. That I am definitely for. But let's find a way and make sure that we at least be transparent and not just feed the people garbage just because we want to say we want to make sure that people buy into our lies because we're tired of being lied to. All right, next speaker.
Hi, my name is David Gardner. What I'm wondering is when they said that they're going to leave the tiles there and they're going to go beside it, and just how much dirt are you going to pull out of here?
Right.
You know, if that stuff is seeped down, it's way deep. How far do you go down to get it all out? I know they did some clearing over there by the post office and by the water and everything, and they dug all that out of there because that was contaminated. So you figure how many years that stuff been down there, and how much they move on down. My issue is, if you're just gonna put concrete over the barriers, to me, you're just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
Because once you put that over there and cover that up, it's still gonna move.
Yep.
And it's gonna keep on moving. And in a minute, it's gonna move into the Flint River. It's gonna, you know, so just how much dirt can you take out, remove, and put into stopping that corrosion? So hopefully, like she said, you know, people need jobs around here. Because the rent on these houses is $1,000 and you need jobs. So you need the jobs in one hand, but you need to take care of that because in that area there, you're gonna still have people gonna run on a garden or whatever there in the neighborhood and all that, still contamination.
Yep.
Still gonna be there, but how low can you get it where it won't hurt the citizens?
All right, are there any more speakers for the public hearing? All right, see if there's no more speakers for this public hearing.
Quick question.
What, question?
Because I think in the public hearing, we should allow, I don't think the public understands the rights of trust and maybe some of the cleanup. I don't know if we want to write out this to allow, Mark, could we ask the council to speak of the cleanup? We had hearings for years for race.
What'd she say?
She just, thank you.
Okay, so is there a request for voting?
And Judy Priestley don't care because she's from the east side. How much more nastier could they get?
I just want to hold out the whole hearing for.
Okay, so the public hearing is now over.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Ms. Burns.
I'd like to make a motion to have Mark Clemmy speak to contamination.
And so,
Necessary questions.
so what's the time limit?
Questions by, I'll do.
And who
Okay,
is he?
yeah.
Who gives him the right to be able to say anything about the contaminations that's going to come into Flint waters and?
I'll support that.
All right, thank you. All right, so, it has been, seconded by the sheriff lady in the fourth ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Mr. Carter is absent. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Michelle?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett is absent.
Just for him to
Mr. Holliday? Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no, that motion passes. So, Mr. Clemmy, could you please approach the lectern? So it appears to be some confusion around the cleaning up of the site. So could you please address that?
Sure. So I think it's worth noting what type of contamination is primarily at Buick City and kind of what's going on, right? So Racer Trust took over the property when GM went bankrupt in about 2010. In between 2010 and 2020, they were focused on doing cleanup actions in Buick City. They did do some soil removal, not a lot, but they did do some. And they did a tremendous amount of assessments. That means taking soil and groundwater samples from the property. What they identified as the primary contamination in Buick City that was causing immediate concern was the oil that was in the ground was getting into the storm sewers, and that was getting into the Flint River. So what the Racer Trust did is they focused on trying to eliminate that. And that involved a couple different things. Primarily, the main thing they did was because the plants were no longer there, they abandoned and disconnected several storm sewers in areas where there was a lot of oil in the ground. And that stopped the oil from getting into the storm system.
Says who?
And that was determined by, there was physical oil that was observed getting in the river and it stopped. And then they did have an area where They couldn't abandon the sewer because it was connected to a main line that actually serviced some of the properties, like the residential properties and commercial properties to the west of the property. So in that case, what they did is very similar to what we're doing, is they actually built a brand new sewer out of chemically resistant materials, actually the same materials that we're using, to prevent any water or oil or anything like that getting into that sewer. And they ran a new sewer and then they demolished and abandoned the old one, similar to what we're proposing to do for this other section of the sewer. That's the majority of the cleanup that's been going on. Since about 2018, they've shifted their focus to PFAS because that's become a big problem. And so when we did the transaction in 2022 and 2023, we did not buy two of the pieces of Buick City. The Racer Trust has maintained the piece that's on the east side of the railroad tracks and also that fronts Hamilton on the east side of industrial. The reason they did that is because they're still doing active cleanup. They are currently working with Eagle to determine what that cleanup is going to look like. And some of it is probably going to be soil removal, some of it is going to be contaminant destruction in place, some of it is probably going to be, capping and entombment. I know that there's also an issue where there's PFAS that's migrating from the property, that is leaving the property on the south border, getting into the street in Hamilton. That is then getting into the sanitary sewer. The city of Flint is dealing with Eagle on this issue as well. And what's happening is Racer is gearing up this summer to basically do a similar thing where they're going to abandon some sewer lines in Hamilton Road that run just south of the property. And they're going to build some new sewers and reconnect, and they're going to basically alter some of the sewer structure, abandon some, build a few new lines, and that is specifically to stop the contaminated groundwater from getting into the sewer. Now, if some people brought up some issues about contamination off the property, like in the residential properties of the west, I can tell you we don't own that land and I don't know anything about it. I do know that if the contamination is linked directly to activities at Buick City, then they should follow up with Racer on that, and Racer would have some cleanup responsibility there. But the reality is that it's probably a depositional thing, which may be related to the plant, or it could just be related to other atmospheric deposition from the industrial past of Flint. It's hard to know, but it's something that they can look into.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah, well, I just heard her, but how long did you respond?
Where's his fact sheet?
Okay, go ahead. Ms. Michelle.
So, my question is, you talked about the fact that there's currently some PFAS running off into the sewer system right now, correct? The clean sewer system.
The sanitary.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, sanitary, I'll say the correct word, yeah, the sanitary sewer system.
Yeah.
The PFAS is currently running off.
Yeah.
How long before they do the work that you said, where they're going to disconnect from that completely and reroute?
Yeah, I believe it's scheduled for this summer. They had to bid the work, they had to get approval from Eagle to do it, and they're working in conjunction with the city on the scheduling. I believe it's this summer.
They will be Racer Trust.
Yeah, Racer Trust will be paying for that work.
And in the interim, that's still, the PFAS is still leaking.
Yeah, so what's happening is the PFAS is getting into the sanitary sewer, which is then going to the wastewater treatment plant.
Correct. So if the PFAS is getting off into the sanitary sewer and it's just actively happening and it's not going to be corrected until the summer, what does that mean?
Well, it means that Eagle is, I believe they issued a violation notice because of the contamination getting into the sewer, and then the Racer has to respond to it, and so does the city because it's affecting the wastewater treatment plant, and they're both working in conjunction with the state government to address the problem.
So they've issued a liability notice.
Well, they already are liable for it, they've
Right.
acknowledged that, and then, so the thing is that, and I know that it's.
I think I have a question that you can't answer.
Yeah.
I think that's
fundamentally.
Yeah, and I have a question that you can't answer. I just need someone from the city to answer the question that I have.
Yeah, I would recommend follow up with this sanitary.
Thank you.
Because he's already admitted that.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Brown, once you leave the meeting.
Phosphorus.
No, she said we're gonna be on.
Your stuff, this is really important, which is why I'm here, Mark, and we have a president who wants to make jokes. I can really well believe that none of this will get done. But my issue is, you have that deadline or timeline we don't have, 365 warm weather.
I see.
And so they can't really control around the schools.
I can't say anything.
So
I've said all I
here's
can
the
say.
thing, I don't,
He
because
can't give me
if you
no
haven't been
He's
at
talking.
the race or trust meetings, they've been cleaning up since what year?
Since their inception, which I believe goes back to 2010 or 11.
So we had years of cleanup, not
After he gets done.
Arthur Woodson has even put him on his page, and he would often challenge you on certain things, and also with Grace and Trust. So people don't, a lot of people don't understand, the cleanup has been going on. So you did not purchase, I think, this is where the boundary is at, and where the paint was done, you don't have the most contaminated land, you didn't purchase that.
Well, I mean, the land we have is pretty contaminated. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. It's just not as, the main issue is that by the time that they were ready to sell us the property, Razor had most of the contamination on the property under control. Doesn't mean they cleaned it up like in terms of destruction or removal, but it was under control and not leaving the property and could be redeveloped safely.
Right.
But the PFAS issue, they are not finished with.
And when people don't understand what PFAS is, which that's nickel cyanide, other dangerous chemicals, which are there. So which part that you didn't purchase, what were the parcels that you, where are those located at?
There's a part basically from Baker Street to the south, east of Industrial, west of.
Is that where the DuPont plant used to be?
I don't know where the DuPont plant was.
It was Hamilton and, it used to be a one-way.
Yeah.
Just like half a block of industrial. It's been, DuPont plant has been going for a long time. But it's basically at the front by Hamilton,
Yeah.
where it's in your foundry. And so that's where a lot of the contamination was. Race and Trust has put in how many dollars to clean up that was set aside when General Motors,
Yeah, I don't know the Razor's budget, but it's millions.
I think it was 700 something million.
Well, Razor Trust as a whole received like a huge settlement from the federal government to fund their activities, and then it was apportioned by site. I don't know exactly how much in Michigan or how much specifically for the site, but I know it's in the millions.
Yeah, and so when are they done with cleaning up the site?
They will be, I don't know. I mean, that's really a question for them. I think a lot of this has to do with how they deal with the PFAS issue, which is not unique to them. It's a tough, that's kind of a new emerging contaminant that's causing problems all over the country, especially because of the levels that they're searching for and finding it at. But I don't know how long it's going to take them to resolve it.
And so you were stating how many people that are working together on this. You said the city of Flint.
This project has been a collaboration from multiple levels of government. It involves the city of Flint, Genesee County, the Mock Foundation, the state of Michigan, multiple divisions of the state of Michigan, and then also the federal government.
Okay, and so for those who, and I really see more than one site, so, Google, I love Google. It says Race and Trust is responsible for cleaning up and revitalizing former GM locations, received $500 million when it gets established. It's funding along with oversight of state agencies, is used to conduct safe and effective environmental cleanup. So, and I think that because it was so long, we have a lot that's happening with the city of Flint. People don't, these meetings are just enough. You know, and then if you're saying I'm gonna go to Race or Trust, which I've been to those meetings, I've seen you there. We had an interesting conversation at those meetings.
What's the name of that lake?
So, and it's been over years. So they were given millions to do this cleanup. And so who makes sure Race or Trust is doing it properly? This is
Eagle. So what happens is the way the settlement works is that Race or Trust has to present a budget for their activities that they want to do to Eagle, which is the state cleanup agency for Michigan. And sometimes it's EPA, it depends on the site, but this particular site is Eagle. And Eagle, it has oversight, they review everything they do, and they also have to review the budget.
Okay, people don't know what Eagle is.
It's
People really don't trust anybody.
No, and rightfully so given the history, right? But Eagle is the environmental Great Lakes, what do you think, hold on a second, Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy Department of the state of Michigan, which was formerly the Department of Environmental Quality, which has oversight and implementation of all environmental cleanup responsibilities for the state of Michigan.
And And so, you can also go to Racer Trust website, and you can see what the cleanup is, and it's been years. And, some of them, like you said, you cannot clean up, but it can be contained as the site is developed. So the site is one of, I was told, is one of 5 sites to do a site like that. I believe it's in the world, or is it in the US?
It depends on which metric you're referring to.
Okay, with the amount of power, the capacity, it could, have a powerhouse that provided the power to the city at one time. I don't know where it's at now, but it used to be, because they wanted to make sure we can continue to build.
Yeah, a big attraction as we meet and like are talking with companies looking at coming to build the new Flint Commerce Center, you know, that used to be New York City, is yes, there is a tremendous amount of sewer and water capacity. There's also a lot of power capacity, but unfortunately, it's not as much as you would think, but that's because the amount of power that we used in processes back in the 80s don't compare to the type of needs for like, you know, the electric vehicle industry and, power for data centers and things like that. Like they require phenomenally more power, so we still need to bring more power to the site, but the sewer and water capacity is very high and will accommodate just about anything.
And you know what?
And I want to say that because I did work in economic development, and it's extremely hard for sites like this. Mahindra, for this site backed out. There was
That's
two
gonna
or three
happen
that
as soon
backed
as they
out.
get their
So it's
clause
really
into their
difficult to
property.
find someone or business or company or corporation to develop it, one, because of the level of contamination, and then the strict guidelines. And so you are now working on building 2 of 10, and you will be there for, what, another 10, 12 years?
Yeah, the timing and how long it takes us will be driven a little bit by the market, but yeah, it's probably 10 years to do the full demolition and revitalization. And I know someone asked earlier about how far we've gotten. So, like in terms of the main center part of the property where all the foundations and buildings were, we've cleaned about 40 acres so far.
About 40 acres. And that's what, we want for reparation of the new, but, all right, thank you, Madam Chair, I yield the floor.
Anyone else?
Look at Judy.
So, all right, so go ahead. Councilwoman.
So, Racer Trust is responsible for the cleanup?
Razor Trust was responsible for getting the contamination at the site at a point where it would be considered to be controlled for industrial development, and they're responsible for stopping and preventing any contamination migrating off the property.
And do we have working definitions of what control means when we talk about this contamination?
Yeah, it means no exposure to any, for any person or the environment for the proposed use.
So no exposure means that leaking as well, correct?
Yes. Yeah, like if something was, like if there was still oil leaking into the sewer, that would be considered an active exposure and they would be responsible to stop it.
So exposure is still, it's not, so what you're basically saying to me is, once they close off that sewer line and reroute the sanitary sewer line, that would satisfy their definition of exposure.
If they can demonstrate that there is no longer any of the contamination getting into a receptor, i.e. like a sewer, then yes. They'd also have to show that the contamination is not moving in a way that would threaten another sewer as well.
So, if I'm hearing you correctly, the definition of, that we're working off of is, as long as the contamination is not getting into a sewer.
Well, as long as the contamination is not creating an exposure to any person or the environment. Which in this case, the only way that would happen would be if the groundwater was migrating into the river, which it's not.
So
or getting into a sewer to go someplace.
But when we use the term environment, we are using a very broad term.
1 second. So right now, that is our 15 minutes. And I'll entertain a motion to put another, you need another 10 minutes? Yeah, okay, yeah, so.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Make a motion to extend this discussion for another 10 minutes.
All right. Support by Councilman First Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
This is nonsense right here.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Shad?
Yes.
They gonna give me another 15 minutes?
10.
Another 10? I'm ready to go. I'm like you,
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. 5 yes, 0 no?
All right, so, go ahead and proceed, Council. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear, so we have 5 yeses, 0 no. Proceed, Madam Vice President.
Right, and so what is the working definition of environment? Because when you say environment, that includes, that still includes beyond the running off to the river. So what is the definition of environment here?
So Michigan uses a risk-based cleanup standard, which is adopted like similar to the federal government. And what that means is that they identify receptors to human health or the environment, which generally is defined as like flora and fauna. So if there's groundwater contamination that is like getting into, say, a river or getting into a sewer that can be used as a conduit to get to some other place, then that would be considered, an immediate exposure that needs to be stopped.
So technically, then, if we're talking, if we close this off and it's still leaking, and it rains or something, and it's still leaking, and it get washed somewhere, that is still exposure to the environment.
Well, they would be responsible through groundwater sampling and modeling to show that that's not happening. And if it would be happening, then they'd have to deal with that too. I do want to be respectful of Razor. I don't have all the details. I'm generally aware of their activities, but with respect to the contamination in Hamilton Avenue, I know that they are working directly with Eagle and the city water department to address that problem. And I know that they only recently become aware of it and been able to prove where the actual source was. And now that they have that, they're now moving diligently to address it with the state government. And my understanding is they're going to take place with some construction activities this summer. I would recommend you follow up, and I can give you the name of the racer people if you want to follow them directly for more details on that.
Sure, go ahead and email that to me, because what I do want to be very clear on is that PFAS is a forever chemical, a cancer-causing forever chemical. And so, I just want to make sure when we start using terms, that we're all clear on what those terms mean. So when we say contamination, that I understand what your working definition of contamination is. When you say cleaned up, I understand what your working definition of cleaned up is. When you say environment, I understand what your working definition of environment is. Because these are all, in actuality, broad terms that could still lead to, in some way, shape, or form, harm, if not properly addressed. You understand what I'm saying to you?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think it's important that we're all like speaking the same language, and I know that it can be sometimes like frustrating or confusing when people realize the term doesn't mean the same that other people think it means. But generally speaking, contamination means, broadly speaking, in the legal definition of our state, would be the presence of contamination above the recommended cleanup levels, right? And then the cleanup levels are based on exposure pathways. So there's like a drinking water number that says it's not safe to drink. There's a level that says it's
I understand. So how much PFAS is safe to drink?
According to the EPA, they've changed it. I don't know because they keep changing it. But last I saw it was somewhere around 200 milligrams or something like that per liter.
Realistically, human life, if I gave you that much PFAS to drink right now, would you drink it?
No, but I think it's important to understand that nobody's drinking that water because the people are getting their water from the city of Flint municipal system, which is treated water.
Right, fun fact though, when we talk about our sanitary system, that goes into our wastewater. We talk about our wastewater, that goes back into the river. When we talk about our river, unfortunately, that is considered a backup source for us should we need it. And so what we don't need is PFAS going from there into a sanitary system, into wastewater, into the river, and then God forbid we have an emergency, we're not drinking it.
No, yeah, you're absolutely correct, and that's why the wastewater treatment plants across the state are being regulated by Eagle to test their wastewater treatment plant discharge for PFAS, and they're addressing that as fast as.
I hear you, but been there, done that.
Yeah.
With Eagle, been there, done that with the EPA.
Right.
And PFAS is a whole different ballgame from lead.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I would highly recommend you follow up with Razor to get more details, because I only have a working understanding or knowledge of what they're planning on doing.
All right, so I can expect an email with the names and contact information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much. I yield.
All right, anyone else? Go ahead, Teresa.
So one of the things I don't think people really understand is that when you are cleaning, because of the work that you have to do to the site in order to build on, that you are having to open up the ground, which is why, and what Racer does is not get into the ground and remove those underground things. And this is my recollection, oh my gosh, the recollection from your previous visits to us about your Brownfield land, is that because Racer isn't required to remove the utilities and foundations, they didn't have to do as much work as what you're having to do on this site.
Yeah, Racer's responsibility was to control contamination, which from that perspective involves shutting off sewers, replacing some sewers, and then leaving the existing slabs in place as a cap. That essentially controls the exposure to the contamination, but it doesn't mean the site is buildable because nobody can build on all the buried utilities and foundations. So we have to then expose that to remove it, and because we're disturbing that cap, we then become responsible to manage all of that.
And that's why it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And we are blessed in this state that investors like Ashley Capital have the ability to do not have to put the entire bill in. Yes, it does affect the residents because those taxes are being paid back to you. One of the things that Mr. Pfeiffer did in our initial conversation is he wanted assurances for all the details of the expenditures. And so that's actually written into the contract so that we don't just take your word for it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So I just wanted the residents to know that that is in place.
Thank you. I think it's worth to note too, I mean, sometimes it ends up being a little bit of inside baseball, but the thing is the way a brownfield plan works is we actually spend all the money. What we're getting paid back with is really just deferred taxes. So it's taxes that we essentially don't, so it functions kind of more like a tax, like abatement, whatnot, until we can reimburse ourselves for that cost. But so the city of Flint, you could argue, right, is sort of paying for it because those taxes are not necessarily.
We mean sort of.
They're paying for it in the sense of deferred taxes, but the problem and the reason why this structure exists is because if we don't do those activities, those taxes do not exist. So it's in a cart before the horse issue, but we understand that, which is why we wanted to make sure that we structured the plan as best we could to try to push as much tax dollars as possible into the city's coffers.
And by you building on this property, we're collecting 20% of the tax. We're going to be able to keep, plus we'll have any income tax that the employees will pay, as well as any personal property tax that the renters or your VCs.
Well, the personal property tax can also be captured on the Brownfield plan, depending on what it is.
Right.
But
So whatever that is.
Yeah, the percentage of that will go through.
Right, will be coming to Flint too. So we're not just giving you money, we're actually assisting to get more money for the residents that will help improve city services, et cetera, down the line.
Yes, and I mean, the hard truth is sites like this cannot be redeveloped with strict private market sources alone because you can never get to market rents. The hole is too big.
And so since I was around the corner from the old Delphi, they haven't even touched that site. All they've done is taken down the buildings. And God, who knows what's underneath there. It's probably not as contaminated as what the city was. But we don't know.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. I mean,
No, I know.
There's environmental reports that you can follow up with the state on that. But I know that, anyway, that site is going to have similar issues.
Absolutely. So, we want all of our sites to be redeveloped and improve the residents' life. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Shah.
Right, so be clear. I am not saying, I recognize that you are building on top of a site that is already contaminated. Not saying this is an Ashley Capital thing at all, but what I am saying is that when people come in and they build on brownfields, they know that those are contaminated sites, so they know the risks that are posed to the environment around it. I am just saying that it is literally our job to make sure that when we're talking about contamination, we're talking about remediation, all that stuff, that we are all on the same page with definitions, as well as fixes for the problem, as well as possible concerns for the community. So, I want you to understand, cool, having Ashley Capital is here, awesome that you're doing your jobs, but we just want to make sure that we are not damaging ourselves in the process of getting more jobs.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so that concludes our discussion. Thank you so much, Mr. Quimby. All right, so now it is time for public comment. Yes. Madam, first speaker, please.
First speaker is Judge Diane.
Unfortunately, he's not here. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Rich Jones.
Did you say Richard Jones?
Rich Jones.
Yes, so he's not here as well.
Next speaker is Gladys Williamson.
I'm here.
This is nice.
Yes, you haven't addressed how will a fourth emergency manager affect all this money and this project. Because if you think that there's not a fourth emergency manager headed into Flint with all this hiding money and moving money and shifting money and 501c3s, you could think again. We are so close to having another emergency manager in here. Nobody's speaking about it, but how will an emergency manager affect this man and his business with Flint? And just like he said, and what's gonna happen when we have catastrophe storms that are so catastrophic that the banks and all the sewer lines back up? What's going to happen to all that chemicals? And what's going to happen to all that they are cleaning up only to a certain level of what they have to do what they want to do? Because I don't trust these people as far as I can take my eyes off of them or use. Because you still got your hands on the leaded water money. Ain't talking about the interest of the leaded water money. And you just said move right on. No, we're still at the leaded water money. And we're still at 7 cases of water in my kitchen at any given time. And we're still at so much chlorine in my sinks, coming out of my sinks, that I could go to Swartz Creek swimming pool and have less chlorine swimming in that pool than what's coming out of my spigot. And you just don't talk about that. You don't talk about the hot water tanks that are banging and clanging because they still have lead in them. And how much more poison are we gonna have to deal with from this little business deal? I just have a lot of questions that aren't getting answered, but you just are moving right along. Just clippity-clop. Good for you, it's good for the city. But I don't think it's good for the citizens. At your little 20% profit.
All right. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Audrey Young Muhammad.
No, I'm gonna leave.
Take it easy.
I'm Young Hum from the second ward. I'm gonna start off by talking about the abuse of power, abuse of authority. We've seen greatly put into place today, especially with even assigning them for the meetings, and it not being accepted, and the legal meeting being called, there wasn't even a quorum here. I'm sure this will be twisted up by the second, and she always twists up anything anybody say.
Right.
The abuse of authority, we're putting out a spectator, a question that's here in the audience, a new citizen of the city of Flint, because they came in and they asked a question, and it was asked that the meeting be at ease. I think it wasn't, he just asked about what did that mean, and then put him out by the Flint City Police Department. It's been corruption there for years, it ain't just started. Been put out because he came in with a bullhorn, but yet and still, you allow council members to come in with their guns and then publicly state that they came in with guns against citizens who was here because they felt like their life was threatened and the person wasn't even present. So that's an abuse of authority. We gotta stop that. You all are weaponizing the police against the citizens of Flint when they are supposed to be here to adhere and protect the citizens. You got some standing back there now that wanna come out against us. Then the spectator downstairs, he told if he come inside of the city hall building, period, they were going to arrest him. So he's standing outside the building. You talk about abuse of authority. The summer jobs, abuse of authority. You got children who work. I heard I had a mom call me, said that her child worked and didn't get paid for all the hours that they worked last year. So I asked her the police call down here and take up that down here with the city, because that's abuse of authority. This child came in to learn life skills so that she could be able to go and get gainful employment, but yet was abused by not being paid for all of her hours of service. We ain't gonna even start talking about the water. This farce of trying to make sure, okay, we're gonna give water to try to balance out the fund when that should have been done. You don't cause so much stress on the citizens by the citizens having to be stressed about water, accountability, water bills being paid, and you know the water still ain't clean. You got people calling in and asking, is the water clean? We just had a whole forum on Friday. Thank you, Miss Tiny Burns, Councilwoman from the 6th Ward, and Jerry Griffey Carter, Councilwoman from the 5th Ward, for coming out and hearing the concerns from the citizens of Flint who wanted to know where is our money? Why is the water still not clean, and the water quality and the things that they can see that is not happening from here in the city of Flint? Thank you all once again.
All right. Next speaker, Madam Clerk. Next speaker is Patricia Ledman. We got a person who's here. Next speaker is Quorum. All right, I don't think Ms. Mack is in attendance as well.
We chased everybody out.
The next speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, I'm a couple of heroes in Flint. A little while ago, they come up, they wanted to be recognized, but nobody got up there wanted to recognize them because the Ward 1
So that
didn't want to.
forward with this.
And then they all of a sudden they got recognized because, but then they ain't show their certificates. It just pressed on the board. It saved people's lives like this Saturday. The street was booming with firemen all through the streets and policemen. And the firemen chased. It was a whole lot of shooting, and they up ahead. They done more heroes than the Popo. And because Sunday morning I was waiting on the bus to go to the Sunday school, the church. And one of the firemen said, "Man, I said, every Sunday, said, every school." He said, "Where you going?" The church. Get in my truck. I didn't know the boy about to go to my church. The boy, 26 years old, he said, just
stay
coming.
here and
We've
do
been
this so
bad.
that they can
A
say
bad
that
night.
they're still
Me
a
too.
fifth
We've been
citizen
chasing
here.
gun shooting all night long and both fires and this, and all of a sudden, here come the four heroes up here. They talk about, I didn't know all this was going on. But, and people making a joke out of all people to talk before 4:30 and stuff and all this junk and keeping people, whole lot of people want to come ask me how you get in there and talk. But they get turned away for this is the new generation.
This is crazy.
Over there. And people like you, Mrs. Priestley, talk about what money you got left, you gonna put it on the peapot generation. Building on that tenement land, only 1 mile, pipe that there's a money pipe. They are doing that just, they didn't get away with it, all that junk. Like Woodrow Stanley built, he built all the houses on tenement land, they get tax and stuff, we don't talk about that. Brand new houses. Or they were how many dumpsters stole at from St. John to where black people used to live. They didn't like no doctors over there on Hamilton Street where Henry Brothers at. Why don't you tear down that ground? Henry Brothers built a new one right there right across the street from their church. They don't like want black people to come to the Jewish church with the bells was a whole lot of money. They ain't do that down yet. You know, James P. Cole, the bank department right across the river from where you live at, you just go. Oh, they're a bank, but they ain't just took the building off of this. And they ain't even digging that ground in. That polluted paint duplex. Yeah. It's never take that.
So, next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Doug Matthews.
Hello, everyone. My name is Doug Matthews. I'm a veteran, a good government advocate, and a resident of the Second Ward. I come up here often, and I won't apologize for it, because silence is what corruption feeds on, and Flint deserves better than silence. Tonight, I want to say something deeper. Yes, there are politicians who drag this city down. The Snakebite Four, Burns, Pfeiffer, Whitley Carter, Joseph King, and their faction of self-interested, race-baiting haters. They want you to believe that despair is all that Flint has left, and that Mayor Neely is the author of all evil. But I know better. Flint knows better. Flint's soul is not found in their political gains. It's found in our neighborhoods, our shelters, our homes. It's found in the Genesee County Animal Shelter, where a broken dog named Smoke waited, and where many hundreds of you cried, shared, and proved Flint still has a heart. Flint fights for the forgotten. Flint does not turn away from injustice. And I'll tell you this, whether you in the Third Ward elect decent leadership, or whether you choose A.C. Dumas, who lies before the EAB, or Beverly Big Sleazy, who steals food from the mouth of babes, it won't discourage me at all. If anything, it'll double my resolve. And if they start pulling the same race-baiting stunts from that dais, just like the Snakebite Four I mentioned above, I'll sue them just the same. I'll fight for this city with everything I have, no matter what. Because Flint deserves better. We deserve better. The real Flint, the Flint with heart and grit and dignity, loyalty, that Flint is worth fighting for. And for the record, any action I take will be through lawful, peaceful means. The courts, not the streets. Unlike Burns. I thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you, Mr. Matthews. Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Next speaker is Tanya Jones.
Hello, I'm Sonia Jones, and I'm here. I can't even vote in Flint, the city of Flint. I'm here, I have an autistic son, which I have 3 adult children. They're 30, well, I don't even know their age. They're all in their 30s, and I'm advocating for my son that's autistic. First of all, Candace, my son went to church with you, and you put it on record that you didn't know him the last time I brought him here. I bring him to these churches, these council meetings, because I want to educate him. Even though he's autistic, certain things he needs to know. His dad got killed by a Ohio State game, 2012 on Easter Sunday. So certain things with politics he needs to know growing up, because I'm not going to always be here to advocate for him. When it comes to the second ward, from my understanding, you know what I'm saying, the summer programs, they got quests, they got Camp behind it where my son participated in. It was great. So like I said, the same way you work hard to get the money for your church, work hard for this opiate. If the opiate crisis is real, when they say Narcan, you don't take one of these boxes. Sometimes it takes 4, 5, 6. I'm just educating because I had to be educated on this. Okay? My kids didn't go to Flint schools at all. As soon as I found he was autistic, I took him out of Flint. Okay? So my thing, I love everything about Flint. I'm not going nowhere since he brought my attention to this system that is broken, so broken. And another thing, my father is chairperson of Black Lives Matter. So the same way he walked here and protest for Black Lives Matter, I'm advocating for my son. So this is all I'm gonna say. Y'all got a lot of stuff going on here. I had wrote a list. He had a bill with a war horn got walked out today. That could be me, because I'm very voiceful. Because I guess what? I'm not an angry black woman. I'm an angry mother. Because all I got, my kids. Okay? That's what matters to me. And this what y'all doing around here is so broken. I'm realizing I can't even vote. I'm not even the city of Flint. I own houses. I own houses in your ward. So I sit back and I watch everything. So I don't have no horse in this race. But if I'm a mother. I raise my kids to the best of my ability. But if you want to be a preacher, if you want to be a teacher, my son, his teacher, Miss Armstrong, the best teacher, autism teacher there is. So if you sitting next here, you're supposed to do what's best for the people. I'm doing what's best for my child. Just trying to now have 6 feet under ordained. So I'm gonna keep coming here, and I might see Andrew start calming down, go see my psychiatrist and all that, because I'm not going nowhere. The system is broken here though. We all need God, so I'm stop right here. 32. Wow.
Hello, my name is David Gardner. This here today, talk about Flint house, low income housing, how you have a person that works for the Flint house, he's been in the Flint house for 14 years. And you guys know her since you're investment. And it seems like some of you people on the board here is attacking her. And the only reason you attacking her is because you're trying to get to the mayor. And that's wrong. That is really wrong. I don't know if any of you guys been out to the Flint House Commission, know anything about the Flint House Commission, the low income housing. I've been there 40-some years. So I know the EDs, the directors, and everybody that's coming through there. And the people that's putting that story out about her, if anybody, everything you should do, you should check the ones who put all the information out there on her. She works diligently for the Flint Housing Commission. Doesn't get a check, she doesn't get paid for it. This is all volunteer. She lives out there and she works with the tenants. She works with the maintenance people, everybody out there. But now this thing is out here that she embezzled $9,000. Well, the people that put it out there is the one doing the stealing. We talk about Harold Ennis, who was the director out there. They gave him his money. They gave him money. But the lawyer, they fired the lawyer, and he's the one out there putting out all the dirt. So if any investigation need to be done, it's on them, not her. She agreed to pay the money back. I don't know why. Because she did annuals every year for every director out there. And they have to cut the check to her. So any investigation, leave the mayor alone. I ain't for the mayor either, I'm not. But what I'm saying is that don't put her in front. And you're trying to get the mayor. Leave it alone, please. Thank you. Wow.
All right. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The final speaker for this meeting is Beverly Biggs Levy.
Okay, I don't think Ms. Biggs Levy is here. So we will go ahead and we will move on to our council response. Do we have any council members that would like to respond?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Thank you. Ms. Yard, I do want to speak to that. I believe it is now under investigation. You may not remember, we got a lot of stuff in our email. There was stuff. We cannot speak to it now because the Flint City Council is being sued. What? And so I believe the former director, because we didn't have a hearing. So I reached out to her numerous times when I first got it. She never returned my call. And that was months and months ago. So now it looks like it's going to court because there has been a lawsuit filed. And it names the Flint City Council as part of it. So we can't really speak on it. And I assume at that point there is an investigation. I don't know in regards to that. I do want to speak to, before I got here, I don't know what the Judge Brown was put out for, a bullhorn or what, but I don't think we don't have a bullhorn ordinance. I mean, if we had these meetings, we're at break. It doesn't mean there's no set of rules that states for everyone in these council chambers, you gotta be sitting down, you can't talk, you can't move around. There are no rules, and we have to make enough rules that don't exist. So when we have business that needs to be done, there's some business that has to be done when you're talking about coordinating 12 agencies to get something done. Our residents were disrespected. They're disrespected by our council members. We work for them. And business does not want to come here, and it's not because of all the council members. And the businesses are tired of the garbage too. I don't have time to do a special meeting. And it's the only reason why I stayed, because I have family members that are in the hospital. So this council needs to start serving the people and stop serving themselves.
All right. Do we have anyone else that would like to respond during council response?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
I just want to talk about Geraldine's work for the residents because you're the same, I can never remember the names, but Centerview and I have 2 housing commission properties in my ward. Yeah, and so it's, when Centerview had a major water break, and they were several days without water, Geraldine called me. And she was there advocating for the residents at that building. And I think I was out there 3 times, and she was out there a lot more to get that fixed. So so I know that she has a good heart. I'm not going to address any of the other things about it, just that I know that she has worked hard for the residents in those 2 buildings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Priestley. Did I see Councilman Lee next? Go ahead.
I would like to speak to what Mr. Dad had mentioned. He's actually correct without going too far into it as a colleague that mentioned in litigation. But I was over there in housing when the suspensions and things were taking place along the executive director and his whole administrative team were being investigated. So it's kind of ironic that, they are coming at this revenue at this particular time when they were all let go. If they knew these things prior, it didn't seem like this stuff should be brought up a long time ago. And also, they have failed in the ones me talking about the little baby that died over there and how the neglect of securing that window and trying to cover that story up. They're not speaking to that, but they're trying to come sue someone. So we need to address that. That wasn't the only thing. That was the only one the public learned about. It was one prior 2 months to that fell out of the largest place window that they covered up. And when individuals like myself and Ms. Redmond started speaking on it, all of a sudden these things are starting to come out and say this and that and so forth. So I hope that everyone really do their due diligence and let the courts go through the process. But I do concur with Mr. Pegg said it's money ironic. All of a sudden they want to say these things and try to bring people to court when they themselves are not straight on everything or telling the public everything.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Machad.
Thank you. So, a couple of things, because our colleague in the Sixth Ward did say that she was not here, so she didn't understand the particulars. We were not at ease. We were not in a recess. He was not put out because of a bullhorn. He actually approached the podium and was speaking, and we were not having public speaking. He was asked to sit down by the chief of police. The chief of police actually asked him to sit down, and he refused to sit down. And so the chief asked him again, he refused again, so then the chief told him he needed to leave the meeting. So it had nothing to do with the bullhorn. We weren't at ease, we weren't at recess. We were actually sitting here waiting for our colleagues to come back to the meeting so that we can have the meeting. Another thing, I do want to correct on the record, and she's gone already, Miss Tanya, when she was talking about her son the last time she was here, and I said I did not know who her son was. That was still accurate. I did not know who her son was, but then when I went back and talked to her, and she showed me a picture of him, I am well aware of who her son is, so she is actually correct. I do know who her son is. Her son and I do attend the same church, so she is correct in that. I just wanted to make sure I put that out there for the record. And I believe Audrey Muhammad, she's already gone, but as long as she knows it was coming, I want everybody to be clear. Rule 29.3, members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance of the council chambers for collection for registration. No additional speaker slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. When the meeting begins, once the gavel is hit. A quorum does not decide the beginning of the meeting, it decides the beginning of the business. So once that gavel is hit, that is the beginning of the meeting. That is the time when speaker slips are done. So, everybody that seems to be confused or would like to rewrite history or rewrite rules, the rule is when the meeting begins. Quorum does not mean the beginning of a meeting. As a matter of fact, in order to establish the fact that you have 5 people here, you need the meeting to begin. Otherwise, it's just 5 people sitting here. Thank you.
All right, so seeing that there's no one else, I'll go ahead and take my allotted time. Just want to speak, for one, to our heroes, Christopher Smith, Angel Hunter, Jalen Washington. Although we could not honor them during the council members because we have council members that refuse to take their seats, we are happy that we were able to do so. They are real life superheroes. Next, I want to encourage residents to peruse the rules in the charter for further understanding of how the city council functions. Everything can be found again in our council rules and charter. If you would like the topic, please refer to the clerk. Next, as we look to investigate the Housing Commission, I'm totally not against it. However, first we must start with the Ethics and Accountability Board. We've been trying to have a hearing for a long time for a board member who have threatened to cause harm to me, and as well as for a board member that assaulted a senior citizen in the lobby of this city hall. So before we jump into that, we need to take care of our house cleaning here and make sure that the board that's supposed to be held to the highest standard and hold up to the highest standard, that they're holding themselves to the highest standard. So I would like to, again, remind my colleagues, before we move on with the Housing Commission, with Journey Redmond, let's take care of the business with Billy Danzler. And then as far as St. Mark goes, the reason why they will not receive my support is because they still on the record on the Tanya Burns show that they service Grand Blanc and beyond.
Sir, well, we don't ask people for their address most of the time unless we're directed by the Eastern Michigan Food Bank, because we try to follow the rules as best as we can. But we see a lot of 48433 area codes. We see a lot of Grand Blanc. We got all the area codes. Everybody just come around, even events. So it's a need.
All right. So with that being stated on the record, we can only support people in the city of Flint. That's why they don't have our vote. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'm asking if the council will allow committee meetings when Ms. Priestley allowed me to elaborate on the.
Absolutely, go ahead, Madam Clerk.
I just want to state for the record, I had discussed, the property portal, and I noted that the property portal is correct in the wards that it states. But I want to say for the record, the property portal, again, is, manned by the IT division, so I cannot speak to its accuracy. The clerk's office has nothing to do with that, so I want to make sure that people know that the property portal is for information about your property. Again, I would suggest not going to the property portal for information about voting or elections. And I also mentioned MVIC without really stating what that is. That's the Michigan Voter Information Center. That is on the Secretary of State's website, and that is where your current and proper voter information will be located. So again, you can go to MVIC, Michigan Voter Information Center, on the Secretary of State website, or call the council office for your voter information. And one other thing I wanted to clarify is the voter registration cards. The voter registration cards that were mailed out in early 2024 were due to precinct consolidations. So the wards did not change. Those were changed in 2022, but in early 2024, we did consolidate precincts.
What is your point?
Can we get you to cut your phone off after you just slandered a pastor?
Wow.
Can you put your phone on mute, please?
As I chair the meeting, I will do the same thing. Go ahead. Madam
Yeah,
Clerk.
so I just want to clarify that those voter registration cards that were sent out early last year, 2024, and again, later on last year were due to precinct consolidation, so those were for location changes for, where you might be voting. So it did not have anything to do with the ward changes that were done in 2022. I just wanted to clarify those things for the record. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Clerk. So now we're going to move on to reconsiderations. So what is the pleasure of the body for the reallocating ARPA funds for youth are unlocked?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
I apologize.
All right, so it is a motion on the floor to reconsider youth arts unlocked 250085. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett is absent. Mr. Alman? Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Murphy Carter is absent. The vote is 4 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 1 no. The reallocating ARPA funds for youth arts unlocked, it failed reconsideration. So now we're on to the reallocation of ARPA funds for St. Mark Missionary Baptist Church.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Make a motion to send 2.058 St. Mark's Missionary Baptist Church Community Outreach Center Food Access and Support System to council.
Okay, that's a proper motion. The proper motion is to reconsider.
For reconsider, thank you, for reconsideration.
Absolutely, my pleasure to help. Any support for that?
Leon got up and dipped.
All right, so there's no support, that reconsideration fails.
Wow.
So now we will move on
That's
to
what
the
you get for
consent
being
agenda.
here.
What's the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
There's a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there any support? All right, it's supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward. Our councilman in the 1st ward, he stepped out for a restroom break. So we will remain at ease until he returns.
Tanya up there playing games and getting worked.
Mr. Mitchell, it means warning if you keep yelling out. So let's stop yelling out.
man, she is playing them games. She said right up there, stayed at this meeting to get handled. Unbelievable. Let's push it through. Man, Ward 6 gonna stay up there. I think she's trying to sit up here and they're gonna push that Ashley Capital through. Exactly what she doing, KP. You sitting up here and everybody else done went on home. Boy, this is terrible. Maybe she knows something I don't know.
All right, so we are looking to vote to pass the consent agenda with any separations, and that also includes the presentation of minutes. Roll call, Madam Clerk. With any corrections for the minutes.
Ms. Michelle?
The minutes were not separated, we're a consent agenda. Oh. Yeah, but we're voting on the point of order.
What?
Separation.
Oh. Are there any separations?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
Let's separate the entire agenda.
Wow.
All right, so the entire agenda has been separated, and so we are voting to approve the presentation of minutes with any corrections. All right. Any support? Supported by the councilman in the first ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Michelle? Mr. Alves? Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Sharp, yes,
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. So now we will move on to the resolutions.
Madam Chair?
Go ahead.
We have petitions and communications on this agenda.
I can't hear you.
There are petitions and communications on this agenda that will need to be voted on.
Madam Chair,
Oh, go ahead.
I vote to accept petitions and communications as listed in the agenda.
All right, any support? Supported by Councilman Burke. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alves? Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Michelle?
Gang.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. The communications petition has been accepted. So now we're on to resolutions. The first resolution is 240546.1.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
Make a motion to approve 240546 for 1T, amendment 1, with Village Congress Center, Brownfield.
All right, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward. And any discussion? All right, discussion is,
Madam Chair.
go ahead.
Yes, you too, Mark Quimby, if you could, come on.
Wow, we back to this again. Same thing.
So this is the last part of your, approval, correct, you had your hearing.
Yes, for the local approval.
And so what was your timeline, and why this was so important?
Yeah, it's really important because we have to have this local process completed for the state process to also complete. And we are working with the MEDC, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, to try to get to the MSF board for approval in June. And for that to happen, they have to have all the paperwork lined up in May. And so getting this approved at this date is really important to us.
Okay, so how many agencies and licensing agencies have you worked with just dealing with this project? Do you have them?
You want a number or you want the names?
Whichever.
Shit, it's 12 of them.
I can think of 7 off the top of my head.
Okay, so this type of project is there's some complexity to it. And so getting everything to line up, timing is important.
Got 12.
So I'm all set, thank you, I yield the floor.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the first round? Anyone else in the second round? All right, so now it's time to vote on resolution 240546.1. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley? Yes. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Holloman?
They got their 5
We
votes.
voted 5 yes, 0 no, that resolution passes. Now we're on to resolution 250087. Go ahead, Mr.
National Capital get to lead. All right, Mark. Yep.
All right, any support? Supported by Councilman the First Ward. Any discussion in the first round? Go ahead, Mr. Garner. Is he here? No, he's not here again.
Okay. I know Mr. Bruce, and his minister, they couldn't contact him, right? Let me finish this my time, thank you, ladies. So the first time he was not here, they're gonna take it off. He came last week and didn't speak. So y'all scared of him. So I did ask some questions, in regards, I know this was not available at first. And we sent it back to committee. I am all set, I can shoot my questions, James. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else in the first round? Anyone else in the second round? All right, so we are going to call for the vote for topology. However, we're going to pause and stand at ease until our colleague comes back from the restroom, since we're only down to 5 members that chose to stay for the meeting.
Lord, if y'all don't see this game, y'all not. I get this man this credit. This brother keep him 5th vote.
All right, so Ms. Burns, so we're ready to proceed. Ms. Burns, we're ready to proceed. Ms. Mashat was in the restroom, Mr. Mitchell, and that is your warning. You will stop yelling now. All right, Ms. Burns, we're trying to proceed. We can call Mr. Arnold up if need be. We're requesting that you please take your seat so we can proceed with the meeting.
I just crashed out to administration, told them she leaving. She told the administration she leaving, they can go to hell, allegedly.
I will be leaving this because you are nasty and rude.
Wow! There you go.
Okay, so we're on a reallocating ARPA fund for typology. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
You don't have quorum. How you gonna, she about to cancel typology. She a clown. No quorum.
Yes.
They just played typology, cold-blooded.
Yes. The vote is 4 yes, 0 no, so that's not sufficient vote for a quorum. Ms. Burns was at her designated seat when we first initiated the roll call, and she decided to leave the meeting for, reasons unknown to doing the business of the city. So we will go ahead and.
After separating the entire.
After we separated the entire agenda, Ms. Burns will form and left the meeting, so we cannot finish any of the city's business.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Councilwoman in the 7th Ward.
I would like to say that there have been plenty of times where we have all had to be subjected to what we consider, tasteless remarks about us, or maybe some.
Because that's administration is dipped out.
Toward us, and we all have to sit in our seats that we were elected to sit in. And so simply because you think someone's not being kind, it's not a good enough reason to abandon your duties. Thank you.
You see how she got the
Thank
talk.
you, and I do apologize for administration for staying the extra time for no business to be handled. So with that being said, after she separated the entire agenda, so we will go ahead and we will call this meeting dismissed at 7:59. Have a great evening, everyone.
Man, cold-blooded. I see y'all in the morning, man. I see y'all in the morning. She played herself again.